Thomas. Everybody's crossing their fingers for you. Is it hat trick night? Here we go, Mom.
All right.
Look at his mom.
God.
She doesn't want to watch.
They are
Oh,
just...
my goodness.
I mean, I understand. That's their son, and he's got... Oh, and Tom, hopefully just take a breath, Tom.
Yeah.
It's so tight. It's so tough to get going here, and then he has a small mistake.
He's got a minute and 5 seconds. 145 seconds. He doesn't need to rush around this course. He can do what he needs to do. Here we go.
Alley-oop. Boom.
Oh, fantastic. Stomped it.
So great. He just nails that trick, which is arguably the toughest trick being done here tonight. I mean, in my mind, it's the toughest trick being done out here, and he does it absolutely perfectly.
Yeah, it's just amazing. 360 there, we just saw that one. Thomas is on fire. Absolutely on fire. Levi Sherwood looking nervous, knowing he's got that one small mistake in his run.
The special flip.
Yes.
Perfection from Tom Pages.
Once.
That's that burial, not hanging on at all. Oh, man.
Mom and Dad, what are you doing? Hey, come on. Lining up again. What's he lining up for here? Sure. Over onto that other ramp now. He's got something different planned for us here.
Oh,
the bike flip. The bike flip.
Perfect. Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Unbelievable. That is just an incredible. The bike flip gets better and better every time I see it. He is killing it in that trick.
Oh, absolute perfection there from Pages. Oh, and then he gets hung up.
Feet on,
Oh, he gets hung up a little bit on the varial, on the bolt. Lucky he's got that back fender cut so short.
Oh my goodness.
And Levi knows he's in trouble right now.
He's in big trouble right now. Thomas just on fire. He wants that hat trick so badly.
Breaks that, and you think he's going to get it. And he's going to get this last trick.
He's going to get it.
Wow.
One last trick here for Thomas.
It's in the bag, Thomas. It's in the bag.
It counts. It's good. And he does the kiss of death over top of that last jump. What did we just witness here?
Well,
how many big tricks were in that run? 84,000. I mean, that was incredible from Thomas.
I mean, last year we saw his final run. We felt it was like the best run that had ever been done in freestyle motocross. I think he just stepped that level up once again. Well, we're going to look back at what may go down in history as a perfect run. Alley-oop flare. Look at that. Just twisting around with all the amplitude it needs. Just landing perfectly.
Ranking it. And then the special flip. Still, nobody doing the special flip the way that Thomas does it.
No, and then the bike flip. We were both confused at what was going on, and just perfect.
Well, the thing is that he did so many other huge tricks we had forgotten completely. Oh yeah, he's got a bike flip in his trick list.
Wow, this is the only part that got a little scary. Just taps his right foot, bringing it back over on that bolt, on that short fender, and
yeah, Mom and Dad, we feel the same way up here.
Hey,
we feel the same way up here.
I think that was our faces.
That was our faces as well.
And it finishes off with good measure with the perfectly executed ruler.
It was a special moment. Real Madrid looking very forward for La Décima, as they're called there in Spain. So it was a fantastic moment. And we are one of the best teams in the world. And I feel very proud, and thank you guys.
Mevrouw Holman, 30 windmolens, elke 200 meter hoog, rondom uw eigen huis. Hoe zou u dat vinden?
Ik zou ervan willen profiteren en ik zou blij zijn dat ik bijdraag tegen klimaatverandering.
We hebben wel alternatieven. We staan hier nu in de prachtige Martinikerk. De klimaatutopie, dat is een religie. En die religie die kost heel veel geld. En dat geld moet opgebracht worden door de Groningers.
Ik snap dat u dat zegt natuurlijk. U krijgt altijd het verwijt dat u te veel Den Haag volgt. Dat zit u niet lekker.
Nou ja, dat verwijt krijg ik misschien, maar dat komt met name van mensen die een beetje socialistisch denken.
Maar ik moet je wel toegeven dat het een ongelooflijk gevecht is geweest met te weinig resultaat.
En ik zie andere partijen die dat gevecht willen opgeven, die willen capituleren, die mee willen met de minister, die eenheid met de minister belangrijker vinden dan knokken voor Groningen.
Wij willen vooral vooruit gaan.
Ik vind dat prima hoor. Want
Ik kom op voor de belangen van de Groningers en dat zijn geen Haagse belangen.
Alleen door te knokken weer een bres kunnen slaan in die muur van de minister.
Om te zorgen dat de mensen nog geholpen worden. Niet allemaal verschillende loketjes. 1 loket voor alle mijnbouwschade. Gas, zout, noem maar op.
Dan is het over het algemeen één partij die daar dan niet mee instemt. En dat bent u.
Nou ja, ik denk dat dat wel meevalt.
Het hoeven niet te overleggen met Den Haag.
Het uitspelen door Den Haag met allemaal mooie beloftes. En dan een kraaltje hier, een spiegeltje daar. Daar moeten we vanaf.
En het was een heel bijzonder traject.
En ik ben hier niet gekomen als bestuurder om vrienden te maken.
Waarom is dat nog niet gebeurd? Is het niet een beetje hypocriet? U heeft het dus niet voor elkaar kunnen krijgen.
Nou, het was zo dat er een aantal partijen waren die de meerwaarde daar niet van inzagen.
Hoe? Om voor Groningers op te komen. Dat is mijn enige taak. En dat heb ik de afgelopen 4 jaar gedaan. En dat zal ik de komende 4 jaar ook doen.
Dat je bij mij, alleen bij mij, wij nog samen waren. Even met jou, even met jou, alleen bij mij, alleen bij
ما ينبض على داره نقصه النزراع العوايد للعوادي خبرون الهول وانا ما يخصه وبنحن اللي تناوشنا الايادي عرق ما ينبض على داره نقصه النزراع العوايد للعوادي خبروا من هنا وانا ما يخصه وبنحن اللي تناوشنا الايادي عرق ما ينبض على داره نقصه النزراع العوايد للعوادي يا خصيم الدار شوف وموت قصه امهات العين واللون الرمادي انخدن لفه ومرن عالمنصه فوقهن شبان من رسة بلادي يا خصيم الدار شوف وموت قصه امهات العين واللون الرمادي انخدن لفه ومرن عالمنصه فوقهن شبان من رسة بلادي خبروا من هنا وانا ما يخصه وبنحن اللي تناوشنا الايادي عرق ما ينبض على داره نقصه النزراع العوايد للعوادي
Hello and welcome to Santorini for one of the most iconic events on the action sports calendar. The 2016 Art of Motion champion is Bart van der Linden, the man who came through the qualifiers, throwing down some big moves, but he's made the right choices. He's boxed clever to take this title.
dat de AOW teruggaat naar 65 namens uw partij. Is een harde eis. Met welke partij gaat u dat regelen?
Met alle partijen die dat met ons eens zijn. En dat zouden eigenlijk alle partijen moeten zijn. Simpelweg omdat de meerderheid van de Nederlandse bevolking dat wil. En als je volksvertegenwoordiger bent, en het is een redelijke eis, dan luister je naar de bevolking.
Dat kunt u willen, maar de situatie op dit moment is dat alleen de PVV en de SP terug willen naar 65. Daarmee heeft u überhaupt nog geen meerderheid. Bovendien willen die twee ook niet samen. Met wie gaat u dus die keiharde belofte?
Ik ga u even een antwoord geven op uw vraag als u het goed vindt.
Ja, heel graag.
Hoort u wat u zegt? U zegt in feite tegen de kiezer, blijft u maar thuis, want die meerderheid is er niet. Het is aan de kiezer nu om te bepalen welke hoeveelheid stemmen deze partijen krijgen. Zullen we dat aan de kiezer overlaten?
Uiteindelijk is ons systeem ingericht om tot een coalitie te komen. U heeft nu niet die partijen
en dat houdt in
op één lijn
die kiezer aan het woord
om
houden.
dat te regelen. Als u nou echt iets voor die ouderen waar wilt maken, echt iets wil binnenhalen, dan zult u tot een compromis moeten komen. 66?
Zal ik u eens iets zeggen? De afgelopen jaren waren wij de enige partij die opkwamen voor de ouderen.
Geeft u het antwoord?
En heb je gezien wat er gebeurd is?
Een compromis?
Ineens,
Meneer
2
Kool,
weken voor de verkiezingen,
u geeft geen
zie je
antwoord
al deze
op de
partijen
vraag.
ineens met voorstellen komen voor ouderen die ze de afgelopen tijd hadden kunnen doen.
Ik constateer
ben er trots
dat u
op dat
geen
wij dat
antwoord
onderwerp
geeft
op de
op
agenda
de
hebben
vraag.
gezet. En dat vind ik het meest belangrijke.
De betaalbaarheid. De betrouwbaarheid van uw
Ik kan u
plannen.
even niet verstaan, vindt u niet
De
erg, hè?
betrouwbaarheid van uw plannen. Zelfs uw favoriete hoogleraren nemen afstand
ben ik
van
blij
de
dat u dat
financiële
zegt.
haalbaarheid van uw verhaal.
U heeft het helemaal verkeerd begrepen en ik kan het bewijzen. Inmiddels heeft professor Van Praag een brief gestuurd die het NRC niet wil publiceren en die de mensen van Nieuwsuur hem niet willen laten uitspreken. Hij zegt, er is 3 kwartier een interview met mij gedraaid en ze hebben 1 zin eruit gehaald die negatief leek. Zo gaan
Het is de media
omroepen.
die daarin geknipt heeft,
In
hoor ik
dit
u zeggen.
geval gaat
Micro,
Nieuwsuur zo
dank u
met
wel.
ons om. Dank u zeer.
Nicole, dank u wel.
It's impressive to look at, and the shark should be okay through the water, shouldn't it? Maybe not. Maybe not. Oh, he's gone, look. The back wheel's completely gone. This is where he goes, look. Lands nose first. Got a face full there, Alan, didn't he? The cake starts to fall apart over Lollydrop. And it's making steering difficult. Look, he can't hold it. He's gone. They've gone. Got a face full of cream and candles, the fellow at the back. I think that's Martin underneath. I didn't say, oh, he's gone! He's gone! Blimey! It was
Here's
only
the
a matter of
Lido.
time, wasn't it? Oh, he just managed to hang on the back there, Buzz Lightyear, didn't he? I thought he was off into orbit there, Buzz. Woody doing the driving, Buzz hanging on for grim death at the back. Down we go. And it's still going, and he's still on there, Buzz. He nearly went then. Keep hanging on, my friend, and under the arch. And oh, look at the finish!
Does anyone wanna go waltzing in the garden? Does anyone wanna go dance up off the roof? Hey, does anyone wanna go waltzing in the garden? Come on. Does anyone wanna go dance up off the roof? Does anyone wanna go waltzing in the garden? Does anyone wanna go dance up off the roof? Does anyone wanna go waltzing in the garden? Yeah. Does anyone wanna go dance up off the roof? On the town, sequins evening gown. Climb those stairs, I do that bump in the air. So get your top hat.
A very good morning to you from Amsterdam for the 44th edition of this famous big city marathon. Well, conditions here this morning are near perfect for the marathon. Dry and with very little wind, temperatures around 9 degrees. Nigea could make today a very big day for Dutch marathon running.
17,000 coiled springs rating to go. Nervous anticipation. And away we go, the 44th Amsterdam Marathon in 2019 is officially underway. 42.195 kilometres, 26.2 miles if you prefer the distance in old money, lie ahead. We've already seen the course, and it's a terrific course. And we've got a great field here. That's the scene, the Olympic Stadium, 1928, remember. That was the first time a marathon was run in this famous city. It was won by Bouhera Al-Ouafi from Algeria in 2:32.57, for those of you who like your history.
Seeing the thousands of participants cross the start line and head out on their journey.
So there we are, just coming into Final Park for the first time. Going to hang a right into this famous park, one of the main green spaces in the centre of Amsterdam.
I think it's been a very special period over the last month for world marathon running, and I'm sure today we're going to see another great race.
There is the Rijksmuseum. Not surprisingly, the marathon there showing off, showcasing, if you like, Amsterdam in all its glory. There's the view from the boat camp. So we've got cameras, we've got angles covered all over the place here in Amsterdam today. This is the picture from the river itself. Look at that.
Well, there's one of the famous sites, the windmill, de Riekemolen. Look at that, almost 400 years old. And Chris, I think that windmill is still practicing.
It's quite a sight. Great support, actually, at this particular part of the course. And, of course, the spectators, as always, will play their part. Pacemaker's still looking good, still working as a team. What a view he's got of this Amsterdam Marathon unfolding.
There's the hose, Chris, if you want to know how it works. That's where they get their power.
They do a sharp 180-degree turn.
So another of the well-known windmills. We translate that as the Swan windmill, the Swan. So one of the Kenyan athletes possibly starting to struggle a little bit, Lucas Rotich. But the drink stations often starts to put gaps between athletes, and the question is whether it's a serious gap or whether it's just being caused by how the athletes pick up their drinks. That there was a little bit of pushing and shoving and sidestepping. So here we go, through halfway, and the athletes are certainly going a little bit slower than we were expecting. We were expecting a halfway split of around 62:30, but it looked like they were just outside 63 minutes. Well, here's Abdi Nagea. The question really is whether he can close that gap.
Yeah, 5 seconds off the rest of the group. He was through halfway. And, well, that gap, I reckon, now is 20 metres plus between this leading group and Abdi Nagea. There he is. And he's got to make sure that he can just keep them in his sights, even allowing for the foreshortening there. That is a gap that looks to me to be getting slightly bigger. Chirono's 30k split was 1:28.58, and he's got them pretty much back on track here.
Well, that is impressive placemaking, isn't it? And they're through 30k, and Kiptu is saying, I've done my work, it's all up to you now. And these spectators are just going to show us exactly how fast those leading athletes are running at. Well, that is fascinating, isn't it, Chris, to see how they came back on schedule, just 7 seconds down on Chirono's course schedule at 30 kilometres, having been 50 seconds down at the halfway point. So that 10 kilometres between 20 and 30 kilometres where Kiptu, the pacemaker, really took charge of the pace. The penultimate drink station at 35 kilometres. And as we've seen already, this is where the group spreads out. Bernard Koech, he's working hard again to stay with them at 35 kilometres.
That's the scene in central Amsterdam, past the Amstel Hotel, one of the iconic hotels in the centre of the city.
And the athletes now just approaching the bridge that takes them over the Amstel River. They're the 8 athletes. Interesting, isn't it, Chris, that it seems to be the Kenyans who are doing all the leading. Tadu Abata, the young Ethiopian, has run a great race, and actually on the far side there, number 3, Solomon Dixisa, a few minutes ago, who was at the back of that group, well, he's really moved himself to the front. Well, I think Unenyao, the Ethiopian, well, he's had a great race. If he can just keep going at the pace he's at, he's going to record a massive PB. Only once run the marathon distance, 2:14.26, so he's going to smash that time today.
And now look at that, the splintering of this group. We mentioned the young Ethiopian who's been dropped, but look at that, they're now single file, Indian file, and this, approaching 38 kilometres, could be the decisive break here. They're continuing to put their foot to the pedal.
So within the matter of 20 metres, those big gaps are now opening up. Maurice Gachaga, Daniel Kemboy dropping back. This, the really tough part of the marathon. Number 11, Maurice Gachaga. A few moments ago, he was in that leading group, and now, as they take their last drink station before entering Vondel Park, even Tadu Abata is now having to work really hard to stay in contact with those leading 4 athletes. So it's the Kenyan Elisa Rotich, number 5, at the front of the race, being pursued by Solomon Dixisa, number 3, and just a few metres down, Vincent Kipchumba and the second Ethiopian, Batesfa Getahun. Here's the Rijksmuseum.
They'll be pleased to see it for the second time because it means they're almost home.
There they are, entering Vondel Park, 38.5 kilometres. Just over 2 kilometres to run, and that gap of 5 metres is still there, and it's Rotich, the Kenyan.
Well, Rotich, the Kenyan, we mentioned with the devastating finish. We haven't seen him unleash it yet, but these final kilometre and a bit are going to be really, really testing here. Dixita, with that rather ungainly, slightly untidy wide arm carriage we've mentioned, is not doing him any harm at all. He's still very competitive here. Kipchumba there has worked really hard to stay on the coattails of these leading 2. 2 Ethiopians, 2 Kenyans, all battling it out here on the streets of Amsterdam for a famous victory here in 2019.
And it's the Ethiopian Batesfa Getahun who is struggling now to stay with that pace.
Yes, the Ethiopian has been dropped in his first ever marathon, so we're down to 2 Kenyans and 1 Ethiopian. Is this the podium here unfolding as we approach 41 kilometres? This is a straight shootout on a Sunday morning here in Amsterdam. Look at the speed of these athletes. You wouldn't think they've been running for over 2 hours, but they have. Under 5 minutes of running left here in Amsterdam.
The women's race as they cross Amstel River past the Amstel Hotel, and as we've seen, Asmera Gebru on the shoulders of the 2 male pacemakers.
The last kilometre here in Amsterdam in 2019. Are we looking at a straight shootout here between 2 fellow Kenyans? Elisha Rotich there in the blue wearing number 5, and Vincent Kipchumba, the 29-year-old, wearing the white, number 8. Kenya 1, Kenya 2, and Ethiopia now 3 inside the final kilometre.
Well, Vincent Kipchumba's worked really hard to get back to that leading group, and now he's actually taken over the lead and is actually the strongest looking of the 3 athletes. So it's Vincent Kipchumba from Kenya, number 8, leading out Solomon Dixisa, the Ethiopian, who's been with the lead throughout the race. So Vincent Kipchumba has opened up 2 or 3 metres on Dixisa, and Elisha Rotich in third place.
Dick Cisa has rallied here. That's the finishing line there inside the Olympic Stadium. We will wait for them inside the stadium. The final 200 metres of this marathon will be on the track. It's half a lap of the track and they are almost there. Inside the final 500 metres here in Amsterdam, it's Kenya 1, Ethiopia 2. Kipchumba leading the way. He had to work so hard in Fondle Park to get back in contention, and here he is leading the way. This would be the biggest win of his career. There is Tadu Abate, who was in contention for much of the race. 400 metres to go. It's Kenya 1, Ethiopia 2. They can see the stadium. I am Amsterdam. Will it be Amsterdam who will be greeting Kipchumba here in 2019? He's almost there. We'll see him come into the stadium. We can see him now from our commentary position. 200 metres to go, and it could be a famous victory here in 2019. Vincent Kipchumba, the 29-year-old, he won in Vienna in April, and he's on his way to victory here in Amsterdam in 2019. The course record set last year by Lawrence Chirono will not be disturbed today, but what a performance here. It's Kenya's day again. It was Kenya's day in 2017, 2018 through Lawrence Chirono, and now it's Kenya's day again in 2019. Vincent Kipchumba, who won in Vienna in April with a massive personal best. Keep an eye on the clock, 2:06.56. He's done it again. Vincent Kipchumba wins in Amsterdam in 2019. 2:05.09, unofficially the winning time. It's a huge personal best. Solomon Dick Cisa, third last year, makes it second in 2019. And in third place for Kenya, Elisha Rotich with the sprint finish that perhaps didn't quite happen today. And what a debut for the second Ethiopian home. Betesma Getahun, the 21-year-old from Ethiopia, comes home in fourth place. What a race, what a performance. And again, it's Kenya's day. Vincent Kipchumba.
This morning, the British ambassador in Berlin handed the German government a final note stating that unless we heard from them by 11 o'clock, that they were prepared at once to withdraw their troops from Poland, a state of war would exist between us. I have to tell you now that no such undertaking has been received, and that consequently this country is at war with Germany.
اخوي الحق عليه، ولدي سكى على روحه، الباب مو بعارف يبطل الباب على روحه.
ما عليه اختي، بتكون الامور طيبه حاليا وراح ارسل لها جواليات الدفاع المدني، بس لو تعطيني العنوان.
سيارة وقفت المنزل رقم 31 مجمع 28 ونزل هنا 4 اشخاص مسلحين.
استلمت، سيتم ارسال قوات التدخل. انسحاب لصقر 10، احنا باتجاه الموقع.
voor de prins, ook voor de koningin zijn de kinderen geweldig belangrijk. Nou, dan is zo'n dag als vandaag een dag waar je niet mag ontbreken. En daar komen ze. Maxima Zorgieta, kroonprins Willem-Alexander, prinses Maxima na vandaag. Na het burgerlijk huwelijk en de kerkelijke inzegening is dit het laatste moment. En ja. Daar is hij. Dit is ook het laatste moment dat we het bruidspaar vandaag zullen zien. Het is verder privé. Een groet van overal vandaan in Rotterdam. 9 miljoen Nederlanders die er kijken, 50 miljoen mensen over de hele wereld. Een ontroerde prins en een ontroerde prinses op het balkon van het Koninklijkspaleis. Een sluitstuk van hun dag. En misschien toch een klein beetje ook wel onze dag.